Hi, this is Scott Siskin. I'm the president of First Republic Mortgage Bankers. When you need a mortgage, call First Republic Mortgage Bankers and deal direct. Eliminate the middleman. No mortgage broker fees. Stop wasting your hard-earned money on your high-rate mortgage and your credit cards. You can save every single month by refinancing. You personally can save every month by locking in the lowest rates in over 30 years. And we make house calls to the entire tri-state area 7 days a week. Call 718-380-0006 if you're buying a home or you want to refinance your home. 718-380-0006.
Good morning, Carol. How are you?
Good morning, Scott. I'm fine. How are you?
It's a pleasure to speak to you. It's always a pleasure to speak to one of our success stories and get that information out to the listening public so they can be better informed about what we're doing here. Why don't you talk to me about the mortgage doctor? I'm sorry, the Eddie Albers, the loan officer?
Yes.
Okay, good. I made a mistake there. Eddie Albers, the loan officer who worked with you. Why don't you talk to us about working with Eddie, how you first heard about him, and what you hoped he would do, and he did.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first person I got in contact with was Eddie, and then he referred me to his consultant, Mike, who I work more closely with. Mike, when I came to him, I got to tell you, we were in a jam. My husband and I were in a jam. We were back taxes were behind at least $9,000. The adjustable rate we had was 8.25, and we were in January 2008. We were going to be in a more serious bind. We were not going to be able to pay our mortgages because our mortgage was going to go up by $400. So we were in a serious dilemma, and we were kind of embarrassed about it. And a lot of people that weren't in our situation, we didn't really like other people don't want to know, didn't want to really share that part of our lives with our friends and families. So got in contact with Mike. He was so sweet. He understood. He listened to our problem, and he didn't try to just sell me a package knowing that it was not going to be in our best interest. So he did just that. He gave us the best package we ever could have asked for, especially when our debt was just so high. It was just ridiculous. It was so high, and we didn't think we could ever get into a package. At least the one he offered us. We wind up getting into a 30-year fixed rate, which is very different from the adjustable rate. It's not going up. It's going to stay the same. We can plan for our future now. It gives us a sense of financial security, and also it's a rate that we can afford. So I think that's like the gift. To talk about Thanksgiving, that's a gift for us.
It is. It's a great gift, and it's true that a lot of people in your situation don't want to talk about it, try to ignore it, and then it gets worse. I'm proud of you that you took preemptive, proactive action by calling Eddie and Mike and speaking to them and getting the facts as to what you could do. Because, in fact, you were able to really get a pretty good deal. I mean, you had a 228 adjustable, I'm assuming?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Now,
it was 8.25. It was an adjustable rate, and our mortgage was already over $2,000, and it was just going to go higher. I think it would have been about $3,000 at that time. If we had let it go on. And we just couldn't afford that, just couldn't afford it. And as the market goes up, your mortgage goes up. So it might have been $400 increase in January, but come March, it might have been even more.
I see, and that, as you said, that could have put you under. Also, you had your taxes that were behind also, because I guess they weren't paying your taxes.
Right, but they didn't have an escrow account set up with us. And at the time when we got into this adjustable rate, we didn't really know about those things. We didn't know how important it was to have a program where everything is included, your escrow, your taxes, everything. Because they can take your house. We didn't know that. They could take your house just because of your back taxes.
Yes,
and,
yes, they can.
In our community, if we, I think it's important for our community because if we don't talk about it, a lot of, my husband and I, we are, well, at least me, not my husband, but my parents didn't own a home. So I had no idea. And maybe his parents did own a home, but they didn't really speak to him about the financial aspect of owning. So I think, if we don't talk to our families and friends, if we're ashamed, we don't share that information with each other, and we lose out.
And you also don't get the opportunity to get information. So if a friend of yours is in the situation you were in, they don't talk about it, then they're not going to know what the solution, potential solution. And that's why we have people on every single day with a success story. All sorts of different success stories from all sorts of different people. When you bought your house in what year?
We first bought our house in, 2000, oh gosh, let me see, 94, I believe, 94.
Okay, and apparently the house has gone up in value since then, right?
Yeah, and that's another thing. When you refinance, if you don't know what you're doing, you can lose your equity.
Right.
And it's so easy to do that. You get into the wrong package.
You have to really structure your debt so you have good debt and not bad debt. You know, I see that you really weren't running credit card debt of any significance prior to doing the refinance. You even had less than 10 payments on your car loan and your student loan. So you had your other stuff in line, but you had $9,000 that you had to deal with, and you had an adjustment coming down the line to bring you to 10.5%. And you're one of those people who have the programs that you hear about on the news every day, but you don't hear success stories. You hear about people who are getting foreclosed and all that kind of stuff. So it's great that we have these success stories, because not everybody who got a 228 is going to end up in foreclosure. And if people really wake up and listen and get the facts about the situation the way you did by calling us directly, they're not going to be able to find the solution to their problem. Let me ask you a question.
Oh, I can promise you that.
You paid off that $9,000, right?
Yes, they helped me pay off the $9,000.
Yep. How did it feel to you when you paid off that tax lien, that tax bill?
Oh my God! Oh my God! If I could tell you how relieved, I couldn't even. Let me tell you, at the closing, and I know Eddie, he'd probably laugh at me, but Mike was there. I got physically ill. I was so nervous. I got physically ill at the closing, because all I could think of is this true? Is this coming to fruition? Am I really going to be free of this debt? Because I was not sleeping at nights knowing that I was almost one of those people that you hear about losing their homes. And I didn't want to go from being having a home to being homeless. And I have 2 children to worry about, and I didn't want to see that. So it was more than a relief for me.
And when you also, did you walk out of the closing with any cash in addition to the $9,000?
We did, a couple of $1,000, and let me tell you, sense of security, just having a little bit of money in the bank as a cushion, just in case.
Yeah, a
lady always needs a pair of shoes.
Well, you are a great success story, and I would encourage anybody who wants a mortgage to call Eddie at 718-380-0006, and his extension is 330, extension 330. We have to run because we're coming up on the top of the hour, but I want to thank you for being on our show, and you showed that one call before I choke, one call does it all on the Winner's Circle. You make the call, and we do it all. First Republic Mortgage Bankers is a licensed mortgage banker, direct lender in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Florida, Delaware, Maryland, Georgia, South Carolina, headquartered at 110 Jericho Turnpike, Floral Park, New York. And remember to listen to the Early Ride Home every single Monday starting at 4 o'clock all the way to 8 o'clock. And on Thursdays, the Early Ride Home starts at 5 o'clock all the way to 8 o'clock. And don't forget to listen every single day to the Winner's Circle between 11 and 12 on 93.5 FM on Link Up Radio.
Well, thanks so much for checking in this morning. I want to thank Scott Siskind, as usual, very instructive over there at First Republic Mortgage Bankers. Call them at 718-380-0006.